In the year 711 AD, the Islamic Umayyad Caliph invaded and occupied the entire Iberian Peninsula of Europe. They were finally expelled centuries later by Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, but not before leaving behind one of the greatest architectural masterpieces of all time, the Great Mosque of Cordoba, Spain. Today, I'm going there myself to show you the top 10 things to experience at this man-made marvel. Welcome to the top 10 wonders of the Great Mosque of Cordoba. If you've been following since my last video, you'll see that my journey on the path of Christopher Columbus has brought me to the south of Spain. I'm in the region called Andalusia, in the old capital of Cordoba, and the Great Mosque is the prime feature of the city. Situated right along the famous Guadalquivir River, in view of the old Roman bridge. Our list of the top 10 wonders of this great mosque starts with the exterior, and specifically the door of St. Stephen, which is the only door that is still open and functioning as an actual entrance. What you're going to see as you wander around the exterior of this mosque, which is completely free, by the way, to see from the outside, is a mixture of Islamic, Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque influences. And this kind of a mixture, especially for a mosque, is unique and the only place like it in the entire world. An interesting thing to note when looking at all these old entryways that you see from the outside is that they obviously were at one point entrances. When this was a functioning mosque during the height of Islamic Spain, people could come and go from so many different sides of this building, making this truly the heart of the city and the center of this rich culture. Let's go inside and see number 9, the Orange Tree Courtyard, or in Spanish, the Patio de los Naranjos. This is a tranquil, congregating area with lush orange trees. It epitomizes the serene beauty and the mosque's connection with nature and the entire world. You see, they had an innovation here, and it was the sewers. So the orange trees were planted everywhere because they emitted a fragrance that would cover up the sewer smell. Apparently, these types of oranges that they grew here were not actually the edible kind. Number 8 is the beautiful bell tower. This was transformed from a minaret to a Christian bell tower, and it's a testament to the mosque's evolving religious identity. It's also one of the most beautiful parts of the mosque that you can see from both the outside and the interior courtyard. We're going to spend quite a bit of time at number 7 on the list of the top 10 wonders of the Great Mosque of Cordoba, Spain, because it's one of the most fabulous places in the entire world. To see number 7, we're going to go inside the Mosque Cathedral. And the first thing we're going to see are the pillars of the prayer hall that expand endlessly. It was built to be like the house of Muhammad, but also the home for everyone. You're going to see hundreds of those iconic double arches and numerous columns. They exemplify the exquisite Islamic architecture and artistic ingenuity of this unique World Heritage Site.
So I can't talk very loudly in here. Hopefully you can hear me well, but the two things that really stood out to me about the inside of this Mosque Cathedral, most of it was from the times when it was a mosque. So apparently there were two other great mosques at the time, the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem and the Great Mosque in Damascus, and those were mainly vertical. But this one was unique, and one of the reasons it's so architecturally significant is because it's more horizontal. If you come in here and walk around, I'll take you around a little bit. It's a very open space. Like these arches that you see behind me are replicated throughout a really large area. So it has a very horizontal open feel. And supposedly that was kind of in line with a more democratic way of seeing things. Of course, it was only men who were praying in here. But amongst the men, it was horizontal without hierarchy. One of the other unique architectural features, in order to give it a little bit of a lift and to make it look higher, as you can see, it's columns with columns on top of them. So this was the innovation at the time that makes this such a unique and important piece of Western art. You're going to see a lot of this replication of the arches with the red and white. And it really, to me, relates well to what I'm doing here, which is getting a sense of what was the world like. What was the old world like from which Columbus came, from which the Spanish came? It really wasn't, like I said before, this stale, crusty kind of monolithic Christian place. It was from Spain, which had been one of the greatest centers of Islam. It was a meeting point of East and West, and this represents part of that spirit, the democratic spirit, the coming together of people, the ideas and the philosophies that were mixing. It was a new world within the old world that was going to combine with an even newer one.
Right now, this is a Catholic temple. But the reason people come here is for the architecture from the time where it was a mosque. Horizontal, replicable, a sense of simplicity, equality, and the Spirit of God floating from person to person. If you've been enjoying this video so far, please join our growing crowd of supporters by clicking like and clicking subscribe so that you get notified every time a new exciting video comes out. Right now, I'm on the path of Christopher Columbus, and it's brought me to the south of Spain. It's going to be an incredible journey because I'm exploring the places that he visited and that influenced him. Columbus did live for a while in Cordoba, Spain, so he would have seen this great mosque, and he would have been impressed by and influenced by this convergence of cultures that had recently taken place in Cordoba, Spain. The flowering of the Islamic situation that gave way to a multicultural situation where Christians, Jews, and Muslims lived together and shared information, shared innovations, and shared cultural experiences. Let's keep going with number 6. Number 6 on our list are the Visigothic and Roman elements inside the mosque. Now, this is a really cool part of this mosque experience, but a really small one. What happened here is that as this mosque was expanded, they used whatever materials they had, and sometimes they had to use columns that had existed when it was a Visigothic temple. And part of the floor, they used Roman mosaics from when this area was part of Rome. This is a strong testament to the site's early Christian and Roman roots, again, highlighting the absolute multicultural, multinational, multi-ethnic aspect of this city, the place where the New World in many ways began. Number 5 is the Vio Gothic Chapel. This is a really unique synthesis of Islamic and Gothic styles. It's named after a Moorish king, symbolizing again that cultural interweaving. Looking around this enchanting mosque, you're probably wondering, why is one of the greatest mosques in the world in the middle of Spain? Well, in 750 AD, the Umayyad prince Abd al-Rahman fled Damascus, Syria, due to a bitter family rivalry and ended up establishing one of the greatest Islamic caliphates in the world, with Cordoba, Spain as the center. By 950 AD, it was Europe's greatest city, 3 times the size of Paris. It was paved and it had running water. But next, going to number 4 on our list, we're going to see a cathedral dropped right in the middle of it. So right in the middle of this glorious forest of columns comes number 4, the choir and the altar of the cathedral in the middle of the mosque. The choir has 109 stalls, with the story of Mary and the story of Jesus etched into the back, facing each other. This is basically VIP seating and would have been used only by people that were priests, bishops, and other types of clerics. Next, we take a look at the Christian altar. It is done in the Mannerist style of art, and it was created from about 1618 to 1715, making it pretty new in this Mosque Cathedral. There are sculptures of St. Peter and St. Paul. There's a tabernacle in the middle, and a beautiful artwork showing the Assumption of Jesus on top. Number 3 is the nave and its glorious ceiling. The ceiling of this cathedral is 100 feet higher than the mosque, and meant to, in a way, show the dominance, the reconquest of Christianity over Islam. It was built in 1523, not long after Columbus discovered the New World, and not long after Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand had completed the reconquest of Spain by taking over Granada. Simply gazing upward inside this cathedral, inside this mosque, was one of the most ethereal architectural experiences both my friend and I had ever had. Number 2 is the complete opposite of numbers 4 and 3, and we're going back to the heart of the mosque. Number 2 is the Makura. This is a beautiful part of the mosque, and it's a private area reserved for the caliph. It's adorned with exquisite mosaics and intricate carvings, and is an absolutely breathtaking place to see for yourself. And finally, number 1, the most important place in any mosque, but especially one of the greatest mosques in the entire world, the mihrab. The mihrab is the spiritual heart of the mosque. It's a niche in the wall that points towards Mecca. It's the direction in which the congregation faces to pray. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Toby Nomad. Be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell so you can know whenever a brand new video is coming out. Join our community of supporters, and I would love to see you in the next video on the path of Columbus, where I take you to the actual monastery where Columbus found shelter, special friends, a place to pray, and a place to build the network and community that would fund his trip to the New World. See you soon.